All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the Schmo Table, everyone. It is an early Saturday morning at the end of October, Halloween weekend, in fact, and we're going to give you some of our hot takes and maybe even a little spooky talk. But I'm Shake and Bake here with Divock and Rain Man. Gentlemen, do you guys have your Irish coffees ready? Weekend, in fact, and we're going to give you some of our hot takes and maybe even a little spooky talk. But I'm Shake and Bake here with Divock and Rain Man. Gentlemen, do you guys have your Irish coffees ready?
Yes. Yeah, mine's ready.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Well, while you guys are talking out of the back of your eyelids, we'll dig into some Schmo Table. Let's talk about the World. Let's talk about the World Series, gentlemen. Last night, the Cubs lost Game 3, the first World Series game in Wrigley since the 1940s, and they lost 1-0 on what I thought was some unreal managing from Terry Francona. Divock, what was your impression of the game?
Well, David Ross actually caught that game in 1945. For the Cubs. He did.
Probably his fifth year in the league.
It was. Yeah, he was still a veteran. I mean, so yeah. So the Cubs. I think were a little cocky going into the game. They thought that Hendricks versus Tomlin was a great matchup, and they were probably right. But Francona, he knows what's going on, and bring in pulling Miller or pulling Tomlin early and getting Miller in there, it's that bullpen, man. That bullpen shut the Cubs down, and that's the big difference between what the Indians have and what the Dodgers didn't have. Is that Joe Blanton isn't out there, trying to get guys out. Instead, you got guys out there who are able to get the Cubs hitters out. And what do you think about that, Shake and Bake?
I just thought, I questioned every time Terry Francona made a move. I questioned, why the hell are you taking that pitcher out? Matchups, Andrew Miller. Obviously, the Andrew Miller thing is a little more understandable just because of the situation and the fact that they weren't hitting Hendricks or any of the Cubs' other relievers. Mm-hmm. And you had an opportunity to get a run and took advantage of it. I was worried that it would then not be worth it because whoever the Indians base runner was tried to stretch to third and got thrown out. So basically hit a sac fly, which even Andrew Miller might have been able to have done for you. But I mean, the Indians came back. I question when he took Tomlin out with 58 pitches.
I think this is just. Oh, sorry,
Raymond. Before you start, Andrew Miller hadn't batted in 5 years.
Yeah, I know. Obviously you can't bat him.
All right, Raymond, you can go. You can go ahead.
No, I just want to say, this is Francona showing why having a top tier manager matters. Him understanding his players more than the public does. While we may question his tactics, and I think even at times he did too. I think he just did the right things, and it's him understanding his players and knowing more about the situation than almost anyone else. And it was a masterfully managerial performance.
Yeah, we talk a lot about how big managers are at this stage, and I think the top three in baseball are Francona, Bruce Bochy, and Joe Maddon. And
absolutely,
Joe, I think it's a big testament to how great they are because they understand how to use their players and who they can trust in big situations rather than just trying to play the matchup. And there's Bochy kind of got away from that this year, and I think that's why he's sitting at home instead of potentially making another run to the World Series, is he tried to play matchups instead of sticking with his guys who can get outs.
One of my favorite things that Francona did during the game was the final out. And, he had Baez up there with guys in second and third.
Yeah.
And, you saw what Dave Roberts did in the NLCS, and he didn't walk him. He had Addison Russell on deck, who's been mostly struggling throughout the playoffs so far, and he didn't walk Baez. He had Allen go right after Baez and couldn't do a strikeout. And it's a different at bat when you get those bases loaded too. I mean, it's so much different. And hey, that's the right decision right there. Don't
I
put gas
agree.
in
Like
brakes.
Frank, trust your guys
Absolutely.
who've gotten you there, and the Indians bullpen has certainly gotten them there.
Mhm.
We have another matchup tonight in Wrigley, and I am all kinds of interested on seeing what Corey Kluber can do on short rest after a disappointing short rest performance once this postseason. Rayman, are you worried about Kluber on short rest if you're rooting for the Indians?
Yeah, I would be. Obviously, the talent, the control, all that's it's there. On a short rest, I just don't know. I don't. I wouldn't. I would be nervous about the Cubs lineup against Kluber on a short notice.
Diva?
Yeah. I would be I'm a little nervous too. But what are you gonna do? I mean, you got Kluber. I mean, you got Bauer. You can't trust Trevor Bauer. Is that idiot who touches pinky
on a drone.
Going back to Francona, I think Francona was well aware that Trevor Bauer, who might have more experience than Tomlin. I think he's well aware that Trevor Bauer is an awful matchup against the Cubs, and that's why he was pitching in Cleveland, not pitching in Wrigley.
I wouldn't even pitch Trevver Bauer.
Yeah,
I would. I don't know. I pitched that Merritt guy.
Therein lies the problem. Like, who else do you go to? And even though
Daniel,
I'm sure those. I mean, like
Salazar. Yeah, you got Salazar out of the bullpen. You got him. I don't know if you'd start him.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
would you for
maybe,
Kluber? If you know you're gonna lose, do you think they're gonna lose this game? Do you think they're gonna go in?
No. I mean, the thing is, you could have Kluber go like 5, and then you can go back to that bullpen again. You could go Miller again. He didn't throw that many pitches today.
No, he did
yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm just.
I mean,
Francona
pulled Tomlin after 4 1/3, so it's not like he's afraid to, not use his starting pitcher for that long.
Absolutely.
So as long as you tell Kluber he's only going to pitch those,
you give me 5. Give me 5. We'll see where we go.
Quality ones. Yeah, exactly. We'll see what the bullpen can do. I think they can carry it from there.
And Salazar too. You can get Salazar out of the bullpen. That's big.
Yeah,
that's huge.
That's huge. And and then the Merritt guy. I mean, I wouldn't even start Bauer. I think Bauer's an idiot. Sean Jerome thing. He messed up his hand. He's not good.
Yeah, I don't think that there's and I think regular season, postseason, World Series, it doesn't matter. Trevor Bauer is the kind of pitcher that the Cubs just eat alive.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even
score prediction for tonight, gentlemen. Rain Man, we'll start with you.
I think 3-2 Cubs.
Diva?
I'm not going to predict the Cubs to win because I just can't do that. So I'll say 5-2 Indians.
I am going 5-3 Indians. I think we're going to see a little offense. I think Kluber is going to come out and pitch very well. And then I'm going to lock myself in my room with a shotgun because Chicago might burn down.
Not quite.
People the good news is for making that prediction.
The good news is that they can't win it. Now. That's the good news.
They cannot. That's very true.
That's what I'm. But still, it was still burned down to end up winning Cleveland.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, well, guys, let's move on from baseball and move on to the NFL. With all the baseball that's going to happen in Chicago, we're going to get plenty of it over the next few days. So, NFL weekend preview, guys. Hold on. Rotate back to baseball real second. I'm jumping the gun here. Rain Man uncovered one of the funniest stories I've heard in a while coming from this World Series. Rain Man, why don't you take it away?
All right. So, released from the Associated Press from the Cook County Circuit Court on Friday says a woman this week submitted an emergency petition for World Series tickets to see Game 4 on Saturday against the Cleveland Indians. The judge basically said that the tickets for tonight's game are held by her estranged husband for him and her son. But the husband can keep. The judge ruled that the husband could keep the tickets for himself and their son, but needed to buy the wife a comparable ticket. And the lowest possible ticket is $3,000. So basically, he has to pay for her to be able to go to the World Series because her argument was they might not reach it again in her lifetime.
That's just absolutely unbelievable.
Okay.
Not the price of the ticket. That
No, it's the
is
divorce that she's emergency
like
petition.
you have to buy. You can't just pay your cover charge to like Murphy's or Sluggers or something.
Right. She can watch the game on TV. Like,
Yeah, like just be in Wrigley. Like I'll invite her to a house party if he gives me like $1,000. Like, my buddy lives right next to Wrigley. We can just go there.
Yeah. So it's just it's crazy that that's an actual legal precedent.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
absolutely crazy. I can't even believe that that's a ruling, and it just poor kid.
Yeah.
Poor kid is just stuck in the middle of his parents fighting over baseball tickets.
I know. National news for that.
That is,
Ouch.
yeah. I mean, Shake and Bake. He said it. That's quite something.
Well, gents, let's move on to the NFL. And we have another London game this week. We have my Cincinnati Bengals playing the Washington Redskins in a game that I never thought I'd saw because I never thought Bengals owner Mike Brown would give up the money that a home game brings him, the greedy little fuck. But outside of that, Divock, you are a general betting degenerate. You're the leader of our DraftKings unit, of our fantasy. You're running around, throwing around dollars like it's no big deal. Tell us how you bet on London games, because a lot of people are shy away from using London players in fantasy, DraftKings, betting on the game in general. What do you do when you bet on London games?
Bet that over. You got to bet that. It seems like those London games, maybe because the Jaguars always play there, but it's always those games are always going over. And except for the Giants.
What is the over on this game?
It was I got it at 47. It's at 49.5 right now.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's
neither defense has played all that well this year.
No, they haven't.
No,
The Bengals,
absolutely
neither defense. And I also I like the Redskins there too. So to cover and win. I'm not. The Bengals have underperformed this season, I think, and they've beaten They've beaten a lot of bad teams. You can beat the Browns. You can beat who else did they beat in Shake and Bake?
Jets and Dolphins.
Jets and Dolphins. So
not really quality competition.
Not too quality. And the Redskins, they lost a pretty rough game at Detroit last week. And but they've beaten some pretty good teams too.
I think Detroit is better than people think they are.
Detroit is one of those
Matt
teams
Stafford
that people don't notice because they have the moniker of being the Detroit Lions.
Right.
Matt Stafford is having a resurgent season.
It's not even resurgent. It's Jim Bob Cooter. It's all Jim
Bob Cooter.
No, it is. It is.
All Jim Bob. 32-year-old Jim Bob Cooter. James Brown Cooter, I believe, is his actual name. But the fact that Cooter is his name.
James Brown, his actual name is James Brown?
I know his first name is James. I think the second name is Brown.
Wow.
Well, the fact that he goes by Jim Bob
just makes it even better.
All right. It's even better.
You have your London. Go ahead, Divock.
Yeah, bet that over, man. Bet that. There's gonna be some points in London. Big game from AJ Green. Big game from.
He's gonna light up Josh Norman.
Josh Norman isn't even playing.
Jordan, he might be playing. I mean,
Jordan Reed and Josh Norman both say that they are going to play, but have not been cleared medically.
I honestly wouldn't clear Jordan Reed again. I honestly think he should retire.
Just after a breakout season.
That's easier for someone like.
I know it's easier for someone on the sidelines to say, but with what the NFL is going through, like medically, I don't know if I'd ever clear him to even go to London, let alone because flights with concussions are terrible.
You got him and Norman were cleared to fly, but have not been cleared to play. So
that's a good sign that they're probably going to play. Like they wouldn't fly there if they weren't going to.
Reed's going to play.
Yeah, I mean he will, and he'll probably do well.
And I think AJ is having a big game. I think
AJ will too.
I think Chris Thompson, I think, is going to have a nice game for the Redskins. I think that Matt Jones, now that he's not running the football, they're going to running game going to be better, actually.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You can see a random Deshaun Jackson good game, maybe. I don't know.
We shall see.
We'll see. But yeah, I'll be up early.
Yeah.
Will you be up early? Rayman, that's not even early for you, is it?
No, I mean, I'll be up. I'll be up.
You don't sleep. You don't sleep.
I don't sleep. Yeah, I don't
Right.
sleep.
You don't sleep. So, and the Shake and Bake will, of course, be up. So.
Yeah, I'll be up. Breakfast will be cooked. Will be cooked.
All
Bloody
right.
Marys will be made.
All right, maybe we'll catch the game.
Nice.
Shake and Bake, maybe we'll catch the game. All right.
Sounds good. Sounds
All right.
good. All right, guys. Another NFL question. So the Jets and the Browns play in what is probably a matchup that most people are flipping the channel over. But the reason it caught my eye is just because with how disappointing the Jets have been on defense outside of maybe the front seven and the pass rush, is there a possibility the Browns can get their first win with downtown Josh McCown back in the lineup?
Did you just say downtown Josh McCown?
I did.
Oh,
Joey
he's back,
might
baby.
have to change his pants.
Return of the Mac, baby. The Browns have a legitimate chance of being the Jets because downtown Josh McCown is the Lord and Savior of everything that is NFL football. And
he isn't clipboard Jesus.
he isn't clipboard Jesus, but he is downtown Josh McCown. And he will get the Browns back on the right track to being competitive, but still losing.
Fair
Does that
enough.
make any sense?
Yeah.
And I think Terrell Pryor is going to beat up on Daryl.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was. Yeah.
I mean, the dude just admitted his body's breaking down. Like,
Yeah.
in the middle of an NFL season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah,
consider that initiative.
I'm not good anymore. What does that say? Like, how do you put a guy out there who's admitted that he's like can't play football?
Washed up.
Yeah. That's basically what the Eagles did with Nam Diasma.
But he didn't come out and say that.
He didn't say it exactly. He played him and he kept quiet and then he retired.
Right.
He went to the 49ers and retired because he was done. But Darrelle Revis is open about it. I don't know if that seems very straight. It's very weird, but should he be respected for that honesty?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You don't. Arian Foster, when he didn't say it, but when he bragged about that, he just got up and retired.
That's a respectable move. Yeah,
I respect that. Yeah,
I respect that a lot.
Respect the hell out of that.
Arian Foster walks away with a great career, and he's a very intelligent guy. I'm sure he'll find something to do. He did the right thing for him, and I totally respect that. In the middle of a season, he just needed to walk away.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's move on. One last actual NFL question, and that's the rematch of the NFC Championship is this weekend. Panthers slaughtered the Cardinals in that NFC Championship. But, guys, the Panthers have not been so good this year. And sitting at 1-5, I believe, right now, they go up against a very good Cardinals team who is probably looking for some revenge. And if the Cardinals should win this game, does that spell the end of the season for the Panthers?
Absolutely. I mean, the problem is the NFC South. Yes, it does. The NFC South outside of the Falcons are terrible. The only thing that can save them is if the Falcons collapse again. But
which is gonna,
they're lucky to be in a terrible division. But pretty much, if they lose to the Cardinals, it's pretty much over.
Okay. Well, if they lose, I think their season is over because they're not a very good football team. That's the reason their season's over. If they lose, I still wouldn't rule out the Falcons losing 7 out of 8 games and finish 7 wins or something like that.
But I mean, even if they snuck into the playoffs, do you think that they're a good enough team? I mean, Cam Newton is just getting destroyed.
Yeah, well, I think Shake and Bake highlighted it. This is a major revenge spot for.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Arizona's actually getting 3 points in this game, which is
really
outrageous. So Arizona's a much better team. You're betting undoubtedly that money line and that spread.
You absolutely have to.
I think Arizona puts a beat down on them.
I do too. I think that we're I'm take this with a grain of salt, but for lack of a better word, you're seeing that last year with Cam Newton was a whole lot of luck and just good execution from a lot of average players.
Mm-hmm.
No, their defense, I think, has.
Let me finish. You saw a team that led the league in scoring with Ted Ginn Jr. being their best deep threat, and that's an issue. Greg Olsen is obviously still being Greg Olsen, but that's because he's probably the most reliable player on that offense. Because even as athletic and unworldly talented as Cam Newton is, he's never been consistent in his career except for last season. And we're seeing this year that he's making the bad decisions that he made last year that he could cap off because either the defense would make a play or the next drive, a receiver would be wide open downfield and Ted Ginn Jr. would just decide not to drop the ball. Mm-hmm. I just think that you're seeing a lot of deficiencies in a team that played above their talent level last year, mixed with the losses on defense were greater than expected.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with all of that. And I think that their line obviously is terrible.
Yeah.
And
been terrible for years and Cam
for years. Well, when Gross retired, that was like one of the like last nails of like them having any offensive line at all. I think that this is just, I don't know. I think they're not a good team, right? Like you said, overall, they're just underperforming, or they're regressing back to their talent level.
This is Cam Newton. This is Cam Newton scoring 45 touchdowns last season and not being able to repeat that because that's impossible to repeat.
Yeah,
right.
You can't. You don't score 45 touchdowns in back-to-back seasons.
That was one of some of my fantasy leagues drafted Cam in the second round because they're like, oh my god, he's just gonna. And I'm like, that is one of the stupidest strategies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because like, I thought he was gonna regress. I thought Kirk Cousins was gonna regress. Like, Cam Newton just couldn't have that season again, and especially losing. Yeah, they're not good.
Yeah.
Well, not only them losing, Josh Norman, but you look.
I thought getting Kelvin Benjamin back would help.
But it's just
it hasn't.
You're getting the same receiver, and people forget that even though Kelvin Benjamin had 1,000 yards as a rookie, he averaged like 6 yards a catch.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't. I think the sheer volume of his numbers was based on the fact that at that point Cam had no one else to throw to, and Greg Olsen wasn't respected as the tight end that he is now, especially after last season. And I just think that Cam Newton makes a lot of mistakes that he makes up for with highlight plays, and people forget about those mistakes because there are a lot of them. And that's why I caution people for the same reason of drafting Cam Newton in fantasy this year and saying that this is where he becomes the first, the best the best quarterback in the NFL because no one can tackle him. He was in the end zone. He can run, he can throw, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I caution you because what he did last year is almost unrepeatable. It's too hard to do because NFL coaches and coaching staffs are too smart to not cook up a scheme based on him because they don't have to see that every week. There can literally just be a Cam Newton.
Well, I mean, you saw in the Broncos game, he got hit in the head like 5 times.
Yeah,
he got rocked. He got rocked.
Then he just pouts around.
Yeah,
he likes delivering hits, and if he gets hit and doesn't get the flag, he just starts pouting because he kind of has the same attitude as a 5-year-old. So,
Yep, that's right.
Yeah,
not the Panthers' year.
Not at all. Not at all. Well, a lot of my friends in Charlotte are pretty upset about it, but you know what? I told them so.
They're used to
guys, let's move on to our last segment for the day. Let's move on to our fantasy football Mary Plow Kill, but with a little twist. We're going to be previewing the weekend of fantasy football rather than reviewing what's already happened. So you're going to plan out your marriage, you're going to plan out your bar conquest, and you're going to plan out a murder. So,
I mean, that's my dream come true.
So, guys, Divock, since this is your dream, give me just quickly who you're going to marry.
Ooh, I am locking down Spencer Ware. After he gashes the Colts for let's call it 150 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Rain Man, yourself? Who are you walking down the aisle with?
I am walking down the aisle with Julio. I think he's just. I think he's going to do well against the Packers, who have a really good run defense, but not necessarily in the secondary.
That's a fair assumption. Well, I'm also going to go with a pretty big name and not really wander too far out of the realm of the early rounds, but I'm going to go with Rob Gronkowski against the Buffalo Bills. It's at Buffalo. Tom Brady's back. The Patriots are well aware that the Bills shut them out and also don't have who are the Bills missing? All right, are missing LaShawn McCoy. And I think Gronk is going to take it upon himself to not tell Tom Brady to throw the ball to him, but Tom and Gronk, I think, are going to have a fun day once again.
I heard in practice Tom Brady was operating with like surgical precision. He wasn't screaming or saying anything. He was just completely calm and like he was looking unbelievable. Like, yeah, I think this is gonna be a revenge game, and I think Bill Belichick is gonna throttle Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
And Gronk is going to be one of the biggest beneficiaries of that.
I think the Bills are going to put up a better fight than you think.
I don't disagree.
I think Rex Ryan will make them fight, but I just don't think they have the talent or the like.
I don't think they'll win.
But. No, I think New England. I think they're going to put up a good fight, but New England's just going to keep going, like
as the
all four quarters. Yeah, like he just never takes like people don't. He will try and score as many times as possible. Over Rex Ryan to prove a point.
All right.
And they just won't stop.
All right.
Anyway.
Who are you?
Go on to,
all right, well, Divock, back to you. We'll defer to you for who are you conquesting in the bar this week? Who are you trying to plow?
I am going to plow the shit out of CJ Fedorovich, whatever the fuck that guy's name is. The guy that the Texans tight end.
Tight end from Houston.
Right.
The Houston tight. Okay, I know it's risky to plow anybody who's been with Brock Osweiler in the past. You're
on the Brock train right now, man. I'll tell you.
I'm never on the Brock train. Brock Osweiler.
Woof.
Don't get me started. I could go on for 10 minutes about how bad Brock Osweiler is. There's 72 million different things I could do with $72 million than pay Brock Osweiler. But Fedorovich, or what's his name? Fedorovich?
I'm not going to pretend.
I honestly don't know. That's probably not good for our job descriptions, but I honestly don't know.
Fedorovich. We're going to call him Fedorovich. He gets a good match with Detroit. Osweiler can't throw the ball more than like 7 yards. Osweiler literally just peppers him with targets because like it's the only thing that Brock Osweiler can think of doing is just like tight end open, throw it to him, and I think it's a good game. So,
Rain Man.
My plow is going to be T.Y. Hilton.
Okay.
I think he's going to pop off, and I think he's going to benefit from having Moncrief back and Dorsett. I think that the Chiefs don't really have a pass rush right now with Justin Houston out. So I think that, I think Andrew Luck's going to have a big game, and I think T.Y. Hilton's going to be a big beneficiary of that.
Some would disagree with the pass rush, but I do agree with the fact that the Colts will
without Justin Houston. That's only Deshaun Bahali, D Ford, and all them haven't been able to produce as much of a pass rush as they used to.
I am going to go with Devontae Booker, the new Broncos starting running back, who in limited touches has shown flashes of brilliance. So I'm going to take those flashes and I'm going to lay him down by the fire this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, who are you plotting to murder? Who's really just grinding your gears and you just need to finish off?
Well, this, I actually dropped this guy in my fantasy league. So the murder has been, I guess you could say,
completed.
Completed. The contract has been
signed.
Has been signed, sealed, and delivered. But that would be Jeremy Maclin. I dropped him this week.
Wow.
And I'm done with him. And I'm done with whatever bullshit the Kansas City Chiefs are pulling out there with their throwing to everyone else but him.
Yeah.
He's not good. Like, I don't know if he's not good. It's just like him in this passing
system
is not good. Like I dropped him for CJ Vidovich.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I dropped him for. Straight up. I'm done.
I think I think the Eagles should trade for him. Connor Barwin, a 6th-round pick for Jeremy Maclin, and I think it'd benefit both teams.
Yeah, he might as well be anywhere but Kansas City. I mean, he's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They can't use his skill set well. I mean, Alex Smith. I don't think Alex Smith is a good fit for him. I mean, he was a big play receiver with Philadelphia, and
that's what I mean. Carson Wentz needs a big play receiver.
He does, and
Connor Barwin's not a 4-3 D end. So both, and you'd be a 3-4 out, like he would add more pass rush for Kansas City while Justin Houston's out.
There you go. Yeah, Maclin.
Well, GM Rain Man, who are you plotting to kill?
CJ Anderson.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Fedovich.
I just traded for him in one of my leagues. my friends in my league vetoed the trade. So here's the trade. I traded Mark Ingram, Isaiah Crowell, and Marvin Jones for ODB and CJ Anderson.
Wait, who's the third guy you traded?
The third, Marvin Jones.
Marvin Jones, okay.
And I think I don't think he's gonna have a big week this week. But they vetoed the trade, so it didn't go through last week. And then he got injured. He's out like 4 weeks. And all I got for it was ODB, and then CJ. It was awful.
I still like that trade for you.
I think I think it benefited me too. But like, it just sucks that the week I get him, he's out. But I'm not actually gonna sign the contract. Like, he's already injured. Like, he's kind of killed for the week.
I think IR is like that's where like the people who get murdered go to like.
Plot
he's not. Yeah.
For me, it is going to be, I really want to kill John Brown again, but once he's kind of dead and buried, I never brought him back. I'm going to go with Doug Baldwin. Doug Baldwin was available on a waiver wire, and I picked him up thinking that that'd be a sneaky play, being Russell Wilson's favorite target. And somewhere between the rebirth of Jimmy Graham and Russell Wilson's ankle injury, he just hasn't been thrown to Doug Baldwin. So I'm done with Doug for now.
Very, very risky to kill a guy facing the Saints this week.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Doug Baldwin thrives when Russell Wilson can move around. And with Russell Wilson just stuck in the pocket and not really be able to move, I think his ability to adjust to wrestle hasn't benefited him as a receiver. So
that is very true. And also go back to that Cam point, scoring like 9 touchdowns in like 3 weeks or whatever he did last season. Like,
it was on. Hence why I figured, whatever, his streak last year was unreachable. But when I saw him on the waiver wire, I was like, oh, has a couple slow start to the season.
Oh, wait, he's on the waiver wire?
That's why I picked him. I picked him up a couple weeks ago, and he hasn't done pretty much anything for me.
Right.
So someone was stupid and desperate and dropped him in my league, and that's why I picked him up. So for now, he's getting killed, even though he's playing the Saints. And this could also just be my attempt at reverse psychology for him to now break back out against the Saints. We'll see if I'm that smart.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
The fantasy gods are cruel. But that's all we have for this week, folks. Keep listening on the Schmo Zone. Check us out on SoundCloud and on the Schmo Zone.
All right, good work. Good work, guys. Thanks, Jacob.
Yeah. Enjoy the weekend, gents.
You too.
Bye.